Hello, how's it going? I came over this morning to do a bit of fabrication and yeah, I wanted to show you what I've been doing. Well, this morning did a little bit of work on the telephone exchange room. As you can see, there is a cable tray going between both. I've also added an extra relay, so it means that the ringer motor doesn't turn on until you pick up the phone, which is pretty useful because it stops it from wearing out and being on for pointless amounts of time. Also, another thing is I've added this cable tray that goes over to the other one, which is going to carry all the 50 phone lines for this one, and as you can see, the line finders are starting to work slowly. It's temperamental. Anyway, there's another wire that goes up here that goes all the way to the other side of the museum, and kablammy, we've got another phone. You can call up the other phone and vice versa between the two for now. It'll do the job, and yeah, wait for it. Oh, lovely jubbly. Hello? And then, yeah, you can obviously do it the other way around as well. It's lovely. But the thing is, when this one is done, you will be able to plug in 50 phones. We're going to have 50 phones everywhere, or 50 simps or something. And as you can see, the line finders are being pretty temperamental still. So yeah, to elaborate on this video, a few things have happened. Well, the first thing is I've added a relay to control the ringer motor starting on the demonstration unit. Initially, Richard had it wired up, so there was a switch here that you could turn it on. That you just somehow flick that off and it actually turns on. I did this in such a way that the switch would actually still work. The thing is the switch is there to make it run constantly so the phones don't have to be up because this ringer would have probably been in a biggest phone exchange where it would have probably been running all the time anyway if it was set up the way I've set it up now. So it's just on constantly. So what it does now is it doesn't actually turn on until you lift up the phone. So with this, Richard gave us some documentation. In fact, there's a lot more documentation in here for this one as well now. So I'm gonna have to find the right piece. Oh God, where is it? Oh, that was quick. There we go. Oh, I'm just gonna put this here. So what I did is I just basically had a read and look around because I've been trying to really get my head around both of these, the UAX13 and this demonstration setup. And these right here are the line relays that have been purposely built for the demonstration unit, so the demonstration unit doesn't need things called line finders or uni-selectors or things like this. This basically bypasses a stage in a Strowger setup and basically jumps straight to the first number from this relay set. So these are the wires that come from one phone, and this is another set of wires that come from another phone. These then run down to these three relays for each phone. So there's line relay 1, line relay 2, and below these they have the K and the KA relays. And when you trigger line relay 1, which is wired up to the first phone, for instance, well, it seizes the first selector, so you can type in, dial in the first number, woo! I wanted to keep the same functionality and I didn't really want to modify this thing. So, it still works like it would work like Richard intended it. So when you turn on the machine, it would just run for ages. But for instance, let's say there's an hour that nobody's using it, then it's running for absolutely no reason. So it seems worth to think of a different idea that would work as well as this switch. When I was looking around, I found that there was 2 free relay spaces in the release alarm relay set. And basically you can see here, this wasn't there before. This is something that I've added, which is basically a relay that runs directly across the switch below. So when you push this, it basically makes the switch switch. So the thing is, this needs to turn on either when the telephone 1 is being used or telephone 2 is being used. Well, the private wire, which is this, which goes over to the first group selector, well, this basically gets sent to ground by K1. So what I did is I basically just wired this to this relay as well. So that means when the private wire is being sent to ground, well, this is also being sent to ground as well, which in turn turns on the ringer. If you remember from the previous video, well, I mentioned that this UAX13 initially is not intended to run on this type of ringer. It's got a different model of ringer, but I'm hoping potentially this would work just as well as the other one anyway, but I don't know yet. So hopefully if this works with this, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to get another relay that does the same job from the actual line relays down here. There's 50 of these line relay sets instead of 2 line relay sets over there. So what this does is when that's done, it turns on the ringer as well, because there'll be 50 of whatever's plugged into this going in and out, be it synthesizers, phones, whatever. I'm not quite sure yet. Another thing that I've added this morning is a cable tray that runs between both of them. This is going to carry, well, the common wires. Hopefully if I get that ringer to work with this one, as well as potentially all of the 50 wires that are going that way into the museum, because that is the side wall of it. Yeah, hopefully. Also, I've started figuring out the cover for this. I'm going to be building it into an acrylic enclosure, which is going to do two things. It's going to stop fingers breaking things and breaking fingers. And also it should, because there'll be a top on it, also stop the dust getting in, so I can have these cases off and not worry about the contacts getting all dusty and this, that and the other. Also, that means this walkway still works, so you can walk in and have a look at the cameras and the telephones behind the back. Progress on the UAX13 rack has been reasonably slow. I mean, I'm being a little bit hard on myself probably, because I've had it for 10 days now and it's nearly sort of doing something. In fact, it's doing less today than it was doing yesterday, and I'm not sure why. I've got to figure that out. This is a pretty dodgy video from yesterday, but I've managed to get a line finder to find the phone that's calling from the line relays below and then send it up to the first number on the group selectors. So that was pretty good. Alas, today it's not doing that. But I've only managed to get one line finder to do this. So here's my rather bad explanation of what's going on, just so people who aren't aware, I mean, it will probably annoy the people who know what's going on, but here we go. So these ones right here are the line relays. If I get closer, you'll see that there are, well, you won't see, but there's banks of 3. There's 1, 2, 3. This bottom one of the 3 actually turns on the phone. So when you pick up the phone, this closes, and what this does is then it goes to tell this, oh crap, I've accidentally pressed the button, one of these, which are called the control relay sets. It tells one of these to kind of go and talk to one of these line finders. Also, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what is happening, but there's a couple of things down here called allotters. I will get a better video of this. I'm planning on doing a bigger, better overview video when I've actually got something sort of working on the You Look Mum No Computer channel. But basically what this does is when it does that, then it tells one of these things, which are called line finders. You'll notice they're a little bit smaller than the group selectors, which are a little larger than the ones I've been touching on up there. But basically what these jobs are is it goes, hey, there's a phone trying to call. And then it tells one of these, whichever's free, to go up in these banks and basically look. Each one of these relay sets, each one of these 3 relay sets are in one of these little contacts in there, in that little bank of relays. So it goes along and it tries to find it, and when it's found it, it should stop on this. And when it stops, that means that it will be able to take this up to the group selector. Each one of these line finders are connected directly to one of the group selectors above. So when this finds the line, it stops, and that means you can type in the first number and then it goes up to the one that it's connected to, which you know, lets you call the first number up on one of these switches. The problem is these line finders are extremely finicky. They're really touchy. I've had some help from a couple of very kind people, including Brendan and Malcolm and a number of other people on this. Just basically, I'd like yeah, a lot of documentation and a couple of neat hacks and stuff that have helped quite a bit. But you know, every single one has different problems. For instance, this one, it just doesn't find it. If I push the button, oh well, nah. This was the one that was working yesterday, suddenly stopped deciding to work. However, it's not doing, it doesn't seem to be stopping on the row that it's supposed to be anymore. I've made sure the vertical are right. It goes up to the top and then flips along. Not sure yet, we'll figure it out. This one, well, it doesn't stop anywhere. It doesn't seem to register. All of these cables are still happy. The switch contact. Yeah, the switches are pretty bad. Sorry, my Lavia ran out of batteries just then. This one up here, yeah, it's all got its own little problems. So I really need to sort these out and basically get a few more working, because you can only have as many calls going at the same time, or many things going at the same time, as you have line finders. The line finders are the things that the calls go through. So it goes from here. The allotter chooses which line finder to designate to the phone call. The line finder finds where it is and then sends it up to the group selector that it's directly connected to. And then, yeah, we'll see how it goes. So that's where we're up to on this thing. You know, it's been a bit slow and steady, but you know, it's only been 10 days and I've managed to get it reasonably working. Well, it was working better yesterday. I still need to figure out what's going on. And then it'll be figuring out what to actually do with it, whether to get it to talk or do sequences or this, that and the other. There is something called Asterisk, an online connectivity telephone exchange thing, so you can wire this up to all of the other things, all the other Strowger telephone exchanges that are on on Asterisk, like museums in America, museums in Wales, this, that and the other. You can get on the phone. Maybe I can get a phone over to the local computer museum, micro museum, so it might be, I'll ask them if they want a phone potentially, so they can call in through this thing or something like that. That'll be pretty cool. It's not taking over my life. I'm trying to, you know, only do like an hour or so every kind of evening, just so it, you know, I've got loads of other things to do and I've got loads of other things to finish. It's looking all right though. The museum's coming along and stuff. I mean, yeah, like the whole, hopefully if it all goes to plan with the opening, the next stage in the coronavirus opening on the UK, which is July the 19th, hoping to open around that time. Hopefully if all things go to plan with the setup and all that stuff over there, and then yeah, it'll be open for the weekends and stuff, but it'll be open after as well. So I'll probably know within a week of when it's going to open. I'll let everybody know, but you know, you don't need to turn up on the first day. It'll be open for plenty of time. And this, I'm not sure whether this might be making noises by then, to be honest. Actually, it's moving a lot quicker than I was expecting. But yeah, I just need to get these line finders talking and then on to the next bit. Also, I managed to figure out where all the phones plug in on the back. I'll do that in another video because the lighting's really bad back there, but I'll talk about all that stuff because it's a right old mess. But it'll be about getting 50 pairs of wires over down to there, to figuring out what can be plugged in and stuff, and just working out what the heck to do with it, because it's cool making noises and stuff. But yeah, maybe I'll make an Arduino for it to play it like a musical instrument, or literally it's used to play things and sequence things. To be honest, I'm not really sure what to do with it. Maybe I'll have it like really, like I had this funny idea of having, you know, like pioneers, you know, like interviews of different engineering pioneers on the other side of the phone. So you can call up, there's a phone here, and you literally can call up 50 different pioneers and listen to the interviews. I think that might be cool, because using it as an instrument in a sort of routing thing, like a patch bay or something, the thing is it's limited by how many line finders you have. So if I only have 3 line finders, for instance, this is the worst case scenario, but if there's only 3 line finders running, that's only 3 patches I can have going through it. Obviously it'll be very noisy and stuff, but it might be all right. But I don't know, it could be a little bit more, it could be a bit of a naff thing, but I don't know, who knows. But the thing is also calling up the interview, having interviews in there and stuff, might also open it up to being able to be run with Asterisk still, which is that online thing, and also having phones at the museum. Also, there was a suggestion today actually of there might be planning permission. I'd still need to figure out, but trying to get an outdoor kind of phone box or something. I don't know, it might be funny. Try and see what planning permission kind of